2 weeks ago, I quit my corporate job, and honestly, some days I feel on top of the world. Other days, I panic. I'm Laia, and I'm a brand designer and strategist. This is me figuring life out after corporate as a new business owner. It's the first time in 7 years that I don't have a formal job. First thing I want to do this morning is to get organized. I want to figure out which tasks I'll do on which days and then create some sort of template of what my days will look like moving forward. I feel like as entrepreneurs, our days can look very different, so we lack structure. So I think that thoroughly planning my days will help me with cutting down decision fatigue and then help me build more discipline and consistency, which are things that I've been struggling with lately. So let's do this together. I made a list of all of the things that I want to start doing and some things that I want to do better. I've also put together a social media strategy and a content plan, which I'll cover in another video. I think I have a solid starting point for planning my week and planning essentially what my day-to-day life will look like. To centralize everything, I'm using Notion, which is my absolute favorite platform in the world. This isn't sponsored, by the way, but I wish it was. And then I'm also using a dotted notebook from Mishmash to keep some sort of low-effort bullet journal. If you're wondering why on earth I have a mix of digital and analog systems, it's because I absolutely adore to write things down. I feel like writing things down on paper helps me process my thoughts better, it helps me remember things, and actually enjoy the task of planning altogether. Like the act of putting pen to paper makes ideas feel more real, and it keeps me engaged and motivated in a way that digital planning just can't. So yeah, I'm gonna stop rambling now. I'm gonna create a Notion page with 3 sections that I can easily reference when planning my week. First is daily must-use. This includes moving my body, even if it's just stretching, practicing gratitude, doing my skincare, and taking my vitamins. Lately, I've been slacking on all of these, so I want them front and center. Second is food. I wanna eat more consciously, so I created a list of foods I should eat regularly. That way, when I plan my meals, I make sure that I actually have a balanced diet and I don't eat the same things over and over again. And then the third one is workouts. I'm committing to 7 a.m. workouts because crowded gyms make my social anxiety peak. So early in the morning is when my gym is the least crowded. And a tip for sticking with habits is to make them as least painful as possible. So by going earlier, I made that habit way easier to maintain. Finally, scrolling down, I mapped out my weekly life and my business schedule. As you can see, I decided to dedicate 3 weeks for my client work and my client projects, which if I have a lot of them, I will of course have to dedicate more time to my client projects, but for now this is it. Then Thursdays and Fridays are for social media, so creating the video scripts, filming, editing, designing the carousels, etc. I have Saturdays for learning and then either resting or doing things that make me happy or improving my business's processes, organizing, etc. Doing a bit more of like housekeeping, but for the business. And then I'm working on having Saturdays off because I want to have more work-life balance. I used to work a lot. I didn't really have real weekends anymore. So I'm trying to just keep Sundays for resting and doing things. And I just added planning for next week, which will take me like 30 minutes max. It's something I enjoy doing and it sets the tone for the week. With that done, every Sunday I'll look at my to-do list and this Notion page and I'll write on my notebook what needs to be done and when, so that I don't have to think a lot, I just need to execute and not overthink. So far, I'm keeping up with the schedule that I created. This week I'm kind of busy with client work and potential clients. It's the month of September that people, including myself, treat it like the beginning of the year, so they want to get things done. For me, it means that I've been getting more inquiries and clients that want to expand the current project, which is very cool. But on the downside, that implies me doing a lot of work that is not paid because I need to attend the meeting, I need to gather the requirements, create the project proposal, do the admin work. So it's very cool because it brings you a lot of opportunities, but at the same time is very time consuming. And right now I'm in the process of doing 2 project proposal presentations, which I'll show you in a bit. However, if you don't know, I changed my branding recently, so I'm having to update every single piece of material that I had, including the templates that I created for myself to save me time and stuff. So I'm taking longer than usual creating those materials because I need to redo everything, but I think the presentations are quite cool. So I'm very excited. I hope the clients decide to sign because the projects are quite big, to be honest. One of them is for something that I've never done or that I've never charged for. So I had done it it in my job and I had done it, as a hobby and stuff, but I've never done it with a real client. So I'm very excited because I feel like that's gonna give me the opportunity to learn a lot and the result can be amazing. So I'm hoping that works. So I'll give you a little sneak peek of the projects. Sorry for blurring the majority of it, but since I don't know if the potential client is comfortable sharing this with the internet, I felt like I needed to blur it. So let me know in the comments if you have a system for speeding things up, because I'd love to know your tricks, and yeah, we can share them in the comments. It's been a week since I resigned from my old job as head of marketing in a software company, and I just wanted to sit down and talk about my experience in case you're going through something similar. Just for context, I'd been at my old job for about 3.5 years. I learned a lot there and I was doing all things marketing, but then somewhere along those 3 years, I discovered branding. I started studying it. I started just getting myself into that world, and I discovered that I really enjoyed doing that. Branding is that perfect combination between strategy and business, and then design and creativity, which is one of the reasons why I studied international business and marketing at uni, because it allowed me to have both things. And so at my old job, I could only do the marketing things and occasionally some design, occasionally some strategy. So I kind of felt stuck, and to kind of scratch that itch, I don't know if that's the correct sentence for that, but to kind of try it out, I started layer branding on the side, and for like 6, 7, 8 months, I was working 2 jobs. I was working 15-hour days, I was working weekends, I was working all the time. So I started not being happy at my old job. I started not being happy in life in general. I didn't have time to meet with my friends, be with my family. I even stopped working out and doing anything for myself. I was really burnt out. And then one day I saw this quote from a really famous book. I'm actually gonna read it. I have it here, and it says, "People delay action once they know the truth, and the interim between knowing and doing is the space where suffering thrives. Most of the time, it's not about not knowing what to do or not knowing who you are. It's about the resistance between what's right and what's easy. We hear our instincts, we just don't listen. This is the single most common root of discomfort. The space between knowing and doing. By not acting immediately, we think we're creating space for the truth to shift, but we're only creating discomfort so that we can sense it more completely, though we are suffering needlessly in the process." And that really hit home for me. Most people tell you to quit your job, but little people actually do. And then other people tell you to not quit your job because, of course, being a business owner sucks and it's not secure. So I kind of was stuck between being safe and being scared. So when I read that, I realized that I truly knew what I wanted to do. I was just delaying the decision, and I thought to myself, like, what's the worst thing that can happen? So the worst thing that can really happen is that I fail, but then again, I would have learned a lot of things. And so here I am. I've honestly never been more scared in my life, but I've also never been happier. Business is good. Actually having time to dedicate to my business has been great. It's allowed me to expand. I've been going to the gym, exercising, I've been seeing my friends, I've been having time to read, sew, paint, do all of the things that I like doing. And I've learned so much in a week that I can't even imagine what I'm gonna learn in 3 months, a year. So I'm very happy that I get to experience this and that I get to do this. And don't get me wrong, being self-employed takes a lot of discipline and a lot of working towards a goal, and it's hard, it's unsecure, and it's unsure, but at the same time it's so rewarding, and I've been loving every single minute of it. So I really encourage you, if you're thinking about a big change in your life, it doesn't have to be about career. Read that quote that I read a couple of minutes ago and just really think about it and make a decision. Anyways, I'm planning on doing a 1 month or 2 month checking, so let me know in the comments if you have any questions that you would want me to address, or any of your experiences that could be useful for other people. So yeah, just let me know and I'll be sure to talk about them. I'm gonna meet a friend of mine who's also an entrepreneur, and we're gonna go to the coffee shop and get some work done, and today you're coming along. So of the clips where I talk about the importance of having a contract when working with real clients got corrupted. So I'm popping here to tell you that for the last couple of days, I've been perfecting the template that I use for myself. I created a template for myself when I started, and I've seen that not a lot of designers work with like a real contract. So I decided to perfect it and get it ready so that you could download this contract if you want it. It's specifically made for designers and creative service providers. So if you're a designer, I feel like it could be very useful to have a contract that's solid and that can help you just avoid misunderstandings with clients, which happen a lot of the times. Anyways, I'm gonna stop rambling, just letting you know that if you want it, it's linked in the description below, and I'll also have it here in screen so you can download it. And then I also have other free resources on my website, so again, I'll leave a link down below if you're interested. Yeah, I hope you find it useful and you can benefit from it. I think I'm actually gonna finish the video here. If you've made it this far, thank you so much for watching. Subscribe if you don't want to miss any of my future videos, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.